Welcome to a new episode of the EFRAG Update podcast. I am Rasmus Sommer from the EFRAG Secretariat, and I'm joined by my colleague Galina Borisova.
Thank you, Rasmus, for having me. It's great to be here.
In the next minutes, we will talk about what happened here at EFRAG in May that is related to financial reporting. In May, EFRAG published its annual review 2024. This document is providing an overview of our activities, milestones, and strategic developments in 2024. As a change compared to past years, it is only available in a digital format on our website. Then we had a few people participating in various debates at the annual Congress of the European Accounting Association. The European Accounting Association is one of EFRAG's members organizations, and the yearly Congress is one of our opportunities to engage with academics. In May, we also had representatives of the Accounting Standards Board of Japan visiting us in Brussels for a couple of days, and we met with them to discuss various technical projects. The chair of the Accounting Standards Board of Japan also met with the EFRAG FRB and EFRAG FRTech in a session at the joint EFRAG FRB and EFRAG FRTech meeting to present the financial reporting landscape in Japan and to discuss some financial reporting issues. In addition to meeting with the chair of the Accounting Standards Board of Japan, the EFRAG FRB and EFRATech also approved EFRAG's draft endorsement advice on IFRS 19, which is the standard with reduced disclosure requirements for subsidiaries without public accountability. Galina, you have been leading this project. Perhaps you can enlighten us a bit more on this.
Yes, sure. After extensive consultation with constituents during the end of the last and beginning of this year, EFRAG has issued its draft endorsement advice on IFRS 19. What the standard does is that it aims to simplify financial reporting for eligible subsidiaries. And who are those eligible subsidiaries? Those are subsidiaries without public accountability whose parent prepares consolidated financial statements under IFRS accounting standards. And what the standard does, it allows them to prepare financial statements under IFRS accounting standards with the reduced disclosure requirements. This approach is expected to reduce the costs of preparing financial statements while maintaining their usefulness to the users. This draft endorsement advice was different from the others since we had special requests of the European Commission to address, such as the interaction with the requirements of the Accounting Directive and whether any carve-out to IFRS 19 may be useful. EFRAG also conducted an in-depth cost-benefit assessment through extensive outreach activities and through a desktop research to estimate the number of entities who will be potentially impacted by the implementation of IFRS 19 in Europe. Our preliminary conclusion is that IFRS 19 satisfies the criteria for endorsement, and therefore we recommend it for the endorsement. The deadline for comments on our draft endorsement advice is the 3rd of September, and they are very welcome.
At the joint meeting at which the IFRS 19 draft endorsement advice was approved, the EFRAG FRB and EFRAG FRTech also discussed the process the ISB is considering for its 4th agenda consultation, which will be issued later this year. They also received some education on the ISB's project on regulatory assets and liabilities, and discussed the ISB's project on business combinations, disclosures, goodwill, and impairment. EFRAG has some concerns on the disclosure requirements on expected synergies and key objectives and the related targets. EFRAG FRTech also had a joint meeting with a consultative forum of standard setters, where the ISB's project on climate-related and other uncertainties in financial statements was discussed, and so was EFRAG's project on connectivity. EFRAG FRTech also had a joint meeting with the EFRAG user panel. Here, the influence of artificial intelligence on the analysis of financial information of users was discussed, and then the accounting for intangibles was also discussed. On the use of artificial intelligence, the discussion indicated that at the moment, artificial intelligence is only used for specific questions or adjustments. Users see the potential in using artificial intelligence, but also its limitations and its hallucination and error rates.
Yeah, and there is no doubt that the use of artificial intelligence is rapidly increasing in all the domains around the world, and EFRAG is not excluded from this process. So we will investigate how artificial intelligence can facilitate and be used in our work, and I'm eager to be a part of this team.
In addition to its joint meetings, EFRAG also had its own meeting in which dynamic risk management and EFRAG's project on connectivity was discussed. Galina, in relation to dynamic risk management, EFRAG has issued a survey. What is that about?
Indeed, Rasmus, in anticipation of the forthcoming dynamic risk management model proposed by the ISB, EFRAG has published a survey about current practices in dynamic interest rate risk management. The result will be used for the design of the field test for the upcoming ISB exposure draft on DRM and also for the EFRAG draft comment letter. The survey deadline is the 31st of July, but this is not it. There is also a second survey who will be coming as a part of this project, and it will focus more on the technical aspects of the proposed DRM model, and it's expected to be launched in the fourth quarter of this year after the publication of the exposure draft.
Thank you, Galina. I think we have covered the main activities of May. What will happen in June 2025?
Several working group meetings are planned in June. FRB and EFRAG meetings will take place, where the connectivity project will be discussed and priority given to finalize the discussion paper on this project. Also, hyperinflation, cash flow statements, and rate-regulated activities will make part of the discussion. And last but not least, EFRAG Administrative Board will meet at the end of June to discuss, among others, the feedback received on the exposure draft on the due process procedures for the financial reporting pillar. To remind you, EFRAG published the exposure draft last September to formalize the due process which has been in place for years, and comments on this exposure draft were due by the end of December last year. We have received 11 comment letters from various types of stakeholders with very positive and constructive feedback, which will be discussed with the Administrative Board.
Thank you, Galina. And also thank you for listening to this EFRAG Update podcast. We will be back next month. You can subscribe to our podcasts if you want to make sure not to miss it.